Hello everyone, are you ready for some serious action, some serious racing? Because we're here at the Cathedral of Speed and we're super excited to be here in Assen. We've got so many people here, so many spectators, and as you can see also the grandstand, so many people. It's the longest grandstand in Europe and we're super excited to be racing here today. And the man who's leading the championship is Lawson. However, you're starting in P3, so it's going to be a tough race, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think the quali was good this morning. We had a good speed all week and we've had really, really good speed. So to be in the top three is really good. We got a point from it as well, which is nice. Lucky pulled out a lap from nowhere there. That was quite impressive. I was actually following him on his second lap and I could see that he was fast. But yeah, it's a good position to start the race. We need to try and score points. That's the main thing. We have weight in the car, like we did yesterday. This time we have less than Marco, so hopefully we can stay with the train. Because obviously yesterday's race was pretty chaotic. So if we can survive that, then yeah, we're looking good. All
right. Well, best of luck, Liam. Thank you so much. And now here's your commentator.
Thanks very much indeed, Verena. Welcome along, everybody, to race 2 here at Assen. Chris Hartley trackside to talk you through what promises to be another intriguing encounter in DTM 2021 with the top 4 in the championship all huddled together, just 10 points between the man you've just heard from, the championship leader Liam Lawson, Marco Vittman, Kelvin Van Der Linde and Maximilian Gotz. There are the standings. 10 points. There are 25 points available for each race win. We've still got today's race, 2 races at Hockenheim in 2 weeks to come, 2 races in the final weekend of the season at the Norris Ring to come, plus those qualifying sessions where you get bonus championship points as well. So this series has been blown absolutely wide open. It's all set up for a great encounter here at Assen. Let's head back to the grid now and Verena.
And I've got Lukas Auer here, who is starting in pole position. It's the first pole position in this season, so you've got to be absolutely thrilled. You've got a lot of proud mechanics here behind you. So what are you going to do out of the pole position? Hopefully a victory?
Yes, hopefully a victory. I will give it absolutely everything. I have no pressure, but I think, you know, starting from pole is never bad, but we have to see the first 3 corners and then our race pace and tire management.
And also you have 2 of the championship contenders behind you, so they're surely going to push really hard.
I don't mind too much who is behind me, to be honest.
All right, well then best of luck for the race. Thank you so much, Luki. And we're going to try to grab Marco Vittman, who's in P2. I just heard he's not there right now, so I'm going to give back to the commentator and we'll try to grab him later on.
No worries, thanks very much, Verena. Yeah, Marco was busy a few minutes before we came on air, throwing flags and merchandise out into the crowd, and one of them got stuck on the top of the catch fencing, so he clambered up like Spider-Man, managed to unhook it and still managed to get it into the crowd. Got a huge round of applause for that. So Vittman back now. Verena has found him. Let's hear from our key championship contender.
So here he is, P2, Marco Vittman, and also second in the championship. You're 7 points behind Liam. So in other words, if you push really hard, I mean, you can really add the points, and it's getting so close now towards the end of the championship. So what's your feeling for this race? Can you take home a victory?
Well, at least we try. I mean, obviously today we carry a little bit more weight with us, so it's not going to be easier. But definitely front row start again is something which is always great to have. Obviously trying to have a good start, a good first in, then it's the big question about strategy again here. But I'm looking forward to it and I hope for a good race.
We all do. Thank you so much, Marco. And now we're going to go to P5 actually, because there we have the man who's actually been so unlucky this weekend here in Assen. And then in the qualifying, he had such bad luck with his last because of the safety car, and he couldn't get a fast lap in before. He only had a few minutes to then do so, and he managed. From the very last minute, he actually managed to P5. So Hey, Kelvin, I mean, you really did something phenomenal today because you were so unlucky in qualifying, but you managed to P5. And from here, come on, P5, you can really make it to the front, right?
Of course we can. I've always got to be positive, you know. This morning we showed that we can, even in tough times with a lot of pressure, we can kind of pull through, and we want to do the same in the race. So yeah, I'm really going to go all in. We've lost the championship lead, but at the same time now we're the underdog, so you know there's only something to win now, so it's all cool.
And quite frankly, I mean, you're saying you're the underdog and you lost the lead, but we've got 5 more races to go, and we're not talking about a huge gap, so it's really realistic to pick up.
It's awesome for you guys watching. I hope you guys are having fun. It's a little bit tough for us drivers out just to have a bit of you know, sympathy for us. It's not easy, but yeah, we're doing our best. So.
But seriously, I mean, I don't have sympathy because you always have a smile in your face and you're always making the best out of it. Everyone is. And quite frankly, for us, it's so exciting. I can't remember a season being this exciting. So please do add on to the excitement, but please do me a favor and show us a smile on the podium today.
I will do my best. Thanks a lot, Marina.
All right. So it's definitely exciting, that's for sure. And we're excited to get the race going on. Let me just see if I can grab some more people. Let's try to grab Maxi Götz, who's also interesting. He's 4th all in all together, and here's Maxi Götz just talking to, excuse me, don't mean to interrupt, but just quickly. So how's it going with you? And starting in the middle of the pack obviously is always a big challenge.
Yes, of course. First of all, it's nice to having this great crowd here. A lot of fans. Tribunes are fully packed, so it's really cool, and hopefully we can make a good show now. Of course, I have to gain some positions more than the others in front, so I will put some pressure now, but I've got some nice, the last quiet infos from Klaus Ludwig, the legend in himself, so let's see how we can handle it.
It's going to be an exciting race, that's for sure. And quite frankly, let us just have a look here at the grandstand. I mean, it's so packed. We've got so many people here. It feels like we're back to normal. So what's it like for you as a race driver with all these people around?
I think this we missed the last 2 years, and this is outstanding. It gives us goosebumps, to be honest, really. When you do the formation lap now and you see all the fans, it's just amazing. And hopefully we can make a good show, and they deserved it, of course. And it's great to be here.
All right, so give us a good show, Maxi. Thank you so much. And now let's get ready for racing. And here's your commentator.
Brilliant. Thanks very much indeed, Verena. They're brilliant, aren't they? Maxi Götz, Kelvin Van Der Linde, 2 of the nicest guys on the grid, all smiles, but they're in the thick of this huge scrap for the championship. But their demeanour is positive, it's smiley, it's happy, it's relaxed, whatever is thrown at them. And quite a bit has been thrown at Kelvin Van Der Linde this weekend. If you weren't watching qualifying this morning, it was tight. He didn't go out for the first part of qualifying. He opted to hold back, knowing that the track would get quicker, thinking, I guess, about saving tyres for the race. Then he went out. He had just a few minutes to try and get 2 laps in, and he was on his quick lap. It was looking like a good lap, which would have got him into the top 4 or 5. And then his teammate, Sophia Flörscher, went off into the gravel, and the session was red flagged, so he had to abort the lap. At this point, he was plumb last in qualifying, 21st out of 21 cars. There were 3 minutes for the restart, which meant he just about had time to get around to start a lap, and would have 1 lap to try and get himself up from the back of the grid. And he put in a brilliant lap under huge pressure, Kelvin Van Der Linde. He actually put himself 2nd at the time, front row of the grid, but there are others behind him in the queue that also improved. So he ended up 5th, but it was tight. I mean, he was right on the edge of the cliff for quite some time in that qualifying session, and 21st place would have been an absolute disaster, especially at the time when his big rival, or one of his big rivals for the championship, Liam Lawson, was at that point on provisional pole position. But Kelvin rescued it, salvaged it. We know from yesterday that he's got a quick race car. We know he's a brilliant quick driver, so let's see what he can do. He's actually higher up the grid by 3 places than he was this time yesterday, and he was battling for a podium position until, more bad luck, the safety car came out before he'd made his pit stop, so all of his time advantage on the track was wiped out, and in the end he finished in 12th place. He did get some points, or a point, because 2 of the cars are guest drivers this weekend, Christian Klein and Mirko Bertolotti, so he scored a point at least, but lost the championship lead the first time in a long time. So you've heard from Liam Lawson, the championship leader now, 3 times a winner this season, 7 times on the podium. He scored 13 points so far this season from qualifying, and he has had his own bad luck as well during the course of the middle of the season, but he's projected himself into this championship fight. And yesterday's winner, Marco Vittman, with a stellar drive yesterday, despite carrying a 5-second penalty. But the fly in the ointment is the driver on pole position, not involved really in the championship fight. Lucas Auer is 7th in the points, but he managed to get pole position. Brilliant lap to get his first pole position, Lucas Auer, since the end of the 2018 season. It's almost 3 years since he was on pole, but there he is. He'll have no success ballast on the car, and we'll see what he can do with no pressure to try and get his first win of the season in the Mercedes. Welcome everybody then to this picturesque part of the Netherlands. We're towards the far north of the country in Assen. It's a beautiful area. The drive into the circuit surrounded by flat level plains. We've got canals all around, the country famous for it. There are 165 canals alone in Amsterdam. Beautiful architecture, clean, welcoming, friendly villages all around this part, and of course famous the Netherlands also for its cheese making, which is thought to date back cheese making in this country all the way to 200 BC. But these days, in this part of the world, also famous for this brilliant racetrack, the Assen TT circuit. So there is the grid. This is the way it's going to shape up for round 12, race 12 of the 2021 championship. Lucas Auer, Marco Vittman on the front row. Liam Lawson starts third, and he's got his teammate for company, Alex Alban. That could be helpful. Kelvin Van Der Linde and Mirko Bortolotti, who was on the podium yesterday, 5th and 6th. Maxi Götz and Daniel Hunkedea share the 4th row of the grid. Vincent Abril and Phillip Ellison complete the top 10. So of the top 4 in the championship, Maxi Götz is the worst placed on the grid, starting from 7th. Maximilian Bug and Christian Klein are next up in Mercedes and McLaren respectively. Sheldon van der Linde, who got into the top 6 yesterday, and Esteban Moot, who was 4th halfway through qualifying but fell back to 14th in the end. Nico Muller, just frustration for him so far this season. He starts behind with Arjun Maini, and then we've got Timo Glock, Mike Rockenfeller, Dev Gore, Sophia Florsch and Esme Hawkey to complete the 21 car grid. Esme Hawkey finishing just outside the top 10 yesterday in 11th, getting the best result of the season so far, though, in her DTM debut year, and also picking up her first championship points, courtesy of those 2 guest drivers ahead of her that failed to score points. The same was true with Sophia Florsch. She got her first DTM championship points, but an off in qualifying this morning, putting her towards the back of the grid. So this is going to be another 55 minutes plus 1 lap race. Lots of talk about the start yesterday. It was a very slow rolling start, and some pulled the trigger a bit early, thinking that Liam Lawson, who controls the pace, or controlled the pace yesterday as the pole sitter, was going to go, but he didn't go until the very last moment, and cars had to get off the throttle, and lots of cars in the mid-pack hit each other front and back. We had quite a few retirements as a result of that, starting with Daniel Hunkedea and Vincent Abril, but others like Nico Muller suffered with car problems later on. Brake problems for Nico as a result of the impact. Phillip Ellison got to the finish of the race, the driver 5th in the championship, but also had damage to his car from 1 or 2 hits, not just on the start, but on the restart. It's a slower travel corridor, recommended at 60 kilometres an hour, because you've got that final chicane, and the idea is that everybody's out of the chicane before the driver hits the go button on pole position. So Liam Lawson was within his rights to have that steady start to the race. Worked out for him in the end, but perhaps not for others. But this time, today, it's going to be Lucas Auer controlling it. It's going to be Mercedes, BMW on the front row, 2 Ferraris on row 2, and the Audi of Kelvin Van Der Linde looking to start the comeback now in 5th place. Lamborghini, Mirko Bortolotti, the guest driver this weekend, the former Block Pond GT champion and former FIA Formula 2 champion, who got Lamborghini's first ever DTM podium finish in the championship yesterday with a fine 2nd place. So success ballast for the top 3 from yesterday, and that means that Marco Vittman had 25 kilograms of success ballast added to his BMW for winning. Mirko Bortolotti has 18 kilograms added to his Lamborghini for finishing 2nd. And for the race, Liam Lawson will carry 15 kilograms for finishing in 3rd. But that's a lighter car than he has had of late, because he's been winning these races. He has had to carry 25 kilograms, but he's got a slightly lighter car this time. Let's see what he can do. This very slender championship lead, 10 points covering the top 4. We've had 6 different winners this year, 3 wins each for Liam Lawson and Kelvin Van Der Linde, 2 wins for Marco Vittman and 1 win each for Maxi Götz, Phillip Ellison and Alex Alban. 11 different drivers on the podium, and we've got 5 races to go in this new era, this brilliant, exciting era of great racing in the DTM. Assen certainly gave us a real thriller yesterday. Lots and lots going on in the race, lots of talking points, and now it's starting to get really serious with the championship. So there, Lucas Auer in the number 22 machine, the Team Windward car, looking to convert this pole position into a first win of the season. It's his 10th career pole position, and there the green flag is waved and the cars head off onto the formation lap. Fans all the way along the grandstand. It's absolutely packed here at Assen. They're huge motorsport fans. This, of course, home to MotoGP races, World Superbikes. A great motorcycle circuit, but DTM have very much enjoyed coming here and racing at Assen for the last 3 seasons. Great facility, as you can see. And here, this very twisty first section of the circuit. And they all bunch up through Harbach, the first corner, into Madijk, the second corner, and then through turn 3 and 4, which run together. It all tightens up through Horsbrocken, through the left-hand hairpin at turn 5. Then that Struben leads them onto this back straight, huge speeds down the back straight, down towards the first of the chicanes. It's not a tight chicane, it's a pretty wide open chicane, but be careful of track limits, because that's been an issue. Timo Glock was asked about track limits, which had been a real issue for the last 2 weekends, really, at Spielberg as well, but here particularly at Assen. And he was asked, why is it such an issue here? And he said, well, really, the track invites you to do it as a racing driver. You're just trying to find the limits, get that extra few kilometre or 2 coming out of a corner, and you want to run right to the edge of the circuit or straight line the circuit as much as you can. And you can do it here because there's lots of flat runoff areas. You can't do it at other places where there are gravel traps awaiting. So natural thing for a racing driver is to try and make that track as straight and as quick as possible. But there have been a lot of lap times taken away for track limits. So Lucas Auer, 10th in the end yesterday. He picked up a 5-second penalty, not for track limits, but for a pit stop infringement by the team. And in the end, that cost him a couple of positions. So 10th place yesterday, but Lucas Auer, well, we're all watching the key championship contenders in a frantic final minute or so of qualifying. He sort of out of the blue, as Liam Lawson said, out of nowhere, banged in this brilliant lap and got himself onto the pole position. So a rolling start it will be, 2x2 formation here at Assen, with Lucas Auer, Marco Vittman controlling the pace once the safety car comes in. Will we see a repeat of yesterday's very slow getaway, or will it be a bit cleaner this time around? 2 Ferraris in tandem, run by AF Corsa. Number 30, Liam Lawson, the championship leader, on the inside, starting 3rd. His teammate, AlphaTauri backed car of Alex Alban for company 4th. He could play a crucial role in this championship because of the driver that's behind him, 5th on the grid, of course, is Kelvin Van Der Linde. So we'll see how it all plays out. Formation lap about to end, race about to start here at Assen. Red lights will go out, and then we'll be racing for round 12 of DTM 2021. The lights go out, they go green. It's a good start for Lucas Auer. Marco Vittman off to a pretty good start as well. Going with him, though, is Liam Lawson. You've got Alban just behind in 4th. Kelvin Van Der Linde fending off Bortolotti side by side, still for 2nd place, but Marco Vittman holds on to it. Liam Lawson tucks in now to turn 2 to hold on to 3rd place, and importantly, he's got Alex Alban with him still in 4th position. Bortolotti has got back ahead of Kelvin Van Der Linde, who's lost places to both Daniel Hunkerdaya and Max Götz. So Kelvin Van Der Linde not off to the best of starts, despite getting off the line well. Start is under investigation, it says on the screen, but for now we've got a great battle going on here for 2nd place with Marco Vittman under huge pressure. Alex Alban going with him. So Alex Alban ahead of his teammate now. He's on the outside line. Marco Vittman should get there first, but Alban is going to tuck in behind, and he's going to go 3rd ahead of his teammate. Was that in the script? Maybe not. It certainly wasn't in Liam Lawson's script. He's lost the place to Alex Alban. So Alban, who of course still mathematically could win the championship, up to 3rd position. 4th place for Liam Lawson. Bortolotti in 5th. Great start for Daniel Hunkerdaya. He's come up to 6th place, got his 7th. Kelvin Van Der Linde in 8th place. And then it's the McLaren of Christian Klein, who's really impressed this weekend, followed by Phillip Ellison just behind. And then Vincent Abril rounding out the top 10 of the points. Start okay, it says on the screen, so no longer under investigation. They're happy with the start. up in the steward's office. That's not going to be looked at any further as we go back on board with Liam Lawson down 1 place to 4th position with Bortolotti behind him. We had a big battle with yesterday. Esteban Moot trying a move and successfully getting down the inside of Arjun Maini in the background. So that'll be for 12th place. Esteban goes through. Sophia Florsch runs out of road coming out of the final chicane, but survives on the exit to Geert Timmerbocht. And down into turn 1 at Harbach now goes the race leader, who is 1.8 seconds clear. Lucas Auer has gone already. Vittman in 2nd place, Alban in 3rd. The gap between those two is just 0.3 of a second. Maxi Gotts in the number 4 Mercedes have both got the same sponsor. Oh, we've lost Esme Hawkey spinning around. We see the back end of that, whether she's lost it on her own or was sent into a spin, we'll perhaps find out with a replay. But Esme Hawkey off for the 2nd time. She was off into the gravel yesterday after contact with Sophia Florsch. Meanwhile, Alex Alban all over the back of Marco Vittman at the start of this lap, but not yet finding a way through. Liam Lawson following the sister Ferrari, 2nd, 3rd and 4th tied together. A bit of a gap back then to Bortolotti in 5th. Damage to the left rear corner of Esme Hawkey, so she could be headed for the pits, I'm afraid. After all, it's a decent drive from her yesterday. Very much enjoys the circuit, she said, getting there. And the incident involving Esme Hawkey under investigation, it says. So that is being looked at. Just got the back end of it. She managed to get the car pointing in the right direction here. She's got a left rear puncture by the looks of it. And damage to the bodywork. Probably the bodywork popping onto the tyre has caused that. Oh, and that's the Mercedes going out wide, which is Buch, isn't it? I think some of the back end of the car has had a moment. He had damage to the car yesterday, which he carried on in the race, but eventually succumbed to the damages and had to retire. 13 cars finished yesterday. And there is Esteban Moot onto the tail of Vincent Abril now, having dispatched with Arjun Maini. Arjun was one of several drivers who was, at one point or another, provisionally on pole position this morning in a very tight session. Replay of Kelvin Van Der Linde wiping out one of the markers, but surviving, won't really damage the car. And that was the moment that Max Buch lost it, bouncing over the curb straight onto the grass, luckily using the runoff area to avoid the barriers and get the car slowed down just in time. Watching the battle for 2nd place, Marco Vittman of the BMW, the driver 2nd in the championship now. He was equal on points at the start of the day with Kelvin Van Der Linde, but picked up 2 points for qualifying 2nd. And he's now 2nd in the championship, 7 points behind Liam Lawson. And at the moment, if he stays in 2nd place, very, very long way to go, but if he stays 2nd, he'll pick up 18 points. 12 points for 4th place will go to Liam Lawson. If it would finish like this, there'd only be a point between them at the end of the weekend. That's far too early to be talking about that kind of thing, I reckon. Lucas Auer, look at him, absolutely flying those, 2.6 seconds clear. However, Alban's on a good lap here. Absolute best 1st sector time, personal best in the 2nd sector. The marshals doing their best to get bits of Lamborghini up off the circuit and clear that, so they're doing a great job. It's all disintegrating as she gets back to the pits, so having got going again, that's when the tyre really delaminated and let go and took some bodywork with it. So she's coming to the pits now, Esme Hawkey, as Lucas Auer goes through with a 2.4 second advantage over Vittman, Alban and Lawson in this battle for 2nd place. Bortolotti is in 5th place still, not quite with them, but just far enough ahead of Daniel Hunkerdale to not get under too much stress as it gets very close between the BMW and the Ferrari. You're on board there with Alex Alban, multiple podium finisher in Formula 1, 1st season of DTM race winner. The Thai British driver who's really got to grips with these cars. He's never driven anything with a roof until this season. It's always been karting, single-seaters on his way to Formula 1. Delighted he's back in Formula 1 with a race seat next year with Williams, when we're enjoying his company while we've got it in this 2021 season, proving that a good driver is a good driver whatever car you give them. He's adapted very well though to this very different style of car, and here he is, the Nürburgring race winner, all over the back of Marco Vittman. Remember, Alex has got no success ballast on the car, unlike the 2 drivers either side of him. Vittman with a full 25 kilograms on board, and Liam Lawson with 15 kilograms on board. Alex Alban, who had a good race with a heavy car himself in race 1 at Red Bull Ring to get a 4th place finish looking good. Tyres being ready though. We're going to see some early stops. I mean, seeing what happened to Kelvin Van Der Linde yesterday, I think people will not want to be risking a late pit stop today. I think see for yourself the gap growing all the time between first and second. Lucas Auer does the fastest lap of the race, 1:34.923. That's 0.6 quicker than Marco Vittman in second place. So Lugi's absolutely flying at the moment. Alex Alban getting semi alongside the BMW of Marco Vittman, trying to swing around the outside now to get the better run coming out onto the back straight, coming out of turn 5. If he pounces, Liam Lawson will be ready to pounce as well. Liam will be willing his teammate to get past Marco Vittman. But Marco, for now, has his nose in front. Just feigning a move to the inside is Alex Alban, just to try to put Vittman under pressure. But he's a two-time DTM champion. He's seen it all before, and he doesn't get stressed. He doesn't get distracted, and he hits the braking point, makes the apex, and keeps the BMW well clear. For Kelvin Van Der Linde, it's not quite working out as he hoped yet. He's in 8th place. Still the leading Audi by a long, long way. If we go back to 15th to find another Audi, which is Nico Müller. Esme Hawkey has gone back out of the pits, back into the race, but a lap down for the British driver. So we've still got 21 cars in action. As Maxi Götz going through, shot in 7th place, ahead of Kelvin Van Der Linde. So taking points away from him, but losing out to Liam Lawson and Marco Vittman. As into the pits comes the race leader, and he's not alone.
Copy that.
Lucas Auer in, Liam Lawson comes in as well, and Max Götz, 2 of the championship contenders in at the same time. Christian Kleen, Arjun Maini joining them as well. McLaren followed by Mercedes. Another critical pit stop then. Auer should be comfortably clear. He was about 3 seconds up the road before the pit stops began. Fastest pit stop we had yesterday was 7.8 seconds for Kelvin Van Der Linde, 7.9 second stop for his teammate Mike Rockenfeller as well. And in total, you are looking at around about 36, 37 seconds to make your pit stop. That's with the in and out. So Auer gets out ahead of Lawson, who gets out ahead of Götz, as he should. Maini's got ahead of Kleen, so that's been a good stop from the Get Speed team, or maybe not such a good stop from the JP Motorsport team, but either way, those two have switched around. Sophia Florsch has been into the pits as well for an early stop. So that's the first of the Sportsline Audis that have come in. So your virtual leader is Lucas Auer, but of course he's dropped down the pack now and taking his place at the front of the field. But still to make his mandatory pit stop is Marco Vittman. Alban moves up to 2nd, Bortolotti moves up to 3rd, Hankadau up to 4th. And Kelvin Van Der Linde will move temporarily at least up into 5th place, followed by Phillip Ellison in 6th. So early pit stops, and really it's early pit stops that have won the races so far this year. That's been the trend. Particularly early stop though, the pit window doesn't open until the leader crosses the safety car line on lap 5. So it's pretty much as early as you can that they came in. They'll have a long stint. They'll have to manage the tyres at the end of the race as Marco Vittman and Alex Alban now come in from 1st and 2nd. Phillip Ellison into the pits. Esteban Moot is coming in. And one of the Rover Racing BMWs, which is Timo Glock. Max Buch also in. Busy pit lane all of a sudden.
Go. Pit speed limit. White line.
Great stop, and importantly so for the Volkenhorst team, because 7.4 seconds, about as good as we've seen all weekend. It got him out just in front of Alex Alban, but the critical thing was he got out before Max Buch came trundling down the pit lane. If he got stuck behind Buch in the Mercedes, he would surely have lost the place to Alex Alban. So Lucas Auer should have come out well clear at the head of the field in terms of the pit stoppers. But look at this, Liam Lawson slicing down the inside and getting the Ferrari ahead of the BMW. Got his tyres up to temperature, so he gains a position there. In fact, he's gained 2 because he's also got past his teammate Alex Alban, who's behind both of these before the pit stops. He's now ahead of both of them, so he's a net 2nd now. Lucas Auer, number 22, going through shot. He's your virtual leader, the first driver that's made a pit stop on track. And then it's Lawson. Really good stop from the team to put him up to 2nd, and well, it must have been a really good outlap as well from the New Zealander. Just what he needed. So he's effectively 2nd now. Vittman and Alban battling for 3rd and 4th. And guess who's behind them, knocking on the door? Max Götz. So Max Götz very much involved in this. It's kind of worked out for him as well. He's much closer to Vittman and Alban than he was before the pit stops. There is Lucas Auer diving down the insides of Esme Hawkey, who's already been lapped in the race after her earlier problem and pit stop and replacement of a tyre. So she steps out of the way, and Lucas Auer carries on. Daniel Hunkadea, the latest driver to come into the pits. He's just come past the commentary box window, pitting from 5th place. So Bortolotti is the leader. Kelvin Van Der Linde is 2nd. Vincent Abril is 3rd. Sheldon Van Der Linde is 4th. Nico Muller will come up to 5th. Mike Rockenfeller will come up to 6th place. Dev Gore 7th, and it should, I think, be Lucas Auer in 8th when he crosses the line. Here's the leading pit stopper, Marco Vittman, mirrors full of a Ferrari once again, like it was before the pit stops. He's got Alex Alban breathing down his neck, but this time around, they've both got to stare at the tailpipe of the other Ferrari, of Liam Lawson. So effectively, he's gone from a potential 4th place, Liam Lawson, and 12 points, up to 2nd place and 18. 6 points to swing for him. Lucas Auer, the virtual leader, then coming through. 8th place at the moment, but everybody in front of him is still going to make their pit stops. As I say, 36, 37 seconds, the quickest times we saw for into the pits, a stop, and then out of the pits, the whole pit stop. So the race leader at the moment is 26 seconds in front. So he's effectively going to be about 10 or 11 seconds clear of Mirko Bortolotti once the Italian makes his stop, as Alex Alban shows his nose. This is working out beautifully for Lawson, but if Alex Alban could dispatch with Marco Vittman, that would be even better. He gets a slow exit from the turn, invites the Mercedes of Gotts onto his tail as well. Hunkadea has come out in that group as well. He's had a decent stop as Bortolotti comes in from the lead of the race. So Kelvin Van Der Linde will pick up the lead for now. He's released. It's an OK stop, 9.6 seconds. T3 Motorsport and the Lamborghini haven't been the quickest of stops, but that's OK. He trundles down. Lucas Auer comes through to retain the virtual lead of the race. And then Lawson. And then coming over the line next, this battle with the two Mercedes, the BMW and the Ferrari of Alban, and just behind them comes Bortolotti's going to tuck in just in front of Phillip Ellison, who's desperately trying to get down the inside of him into turn 2. Doesn't quite succeed in doing so. Replay, Alban was the one that got stuck behind Book in the end, rather than Vittman. But Vittman was already there. It was all very tight though, wasn't it? With the ins and outs there. Busy, crowded pit stop. Phillip Ellison perhaps had to wait to get out. As we go side by side again with Alex Alban and Marco Vittman, but Marco keeps the BMW just in front for now. Hunkadea has really got himself into the mix as well. You can see that he made his pit stop a little bit later than these, and he's come out ahead. So Hunkadea is up to a net 3rd place now, as it stands. And then you've got the BMW and the Ferrari battling over a net 4th, Vittman and Alban. So again, that does a favour to Liam Lawson. It takes more potential points away from 2 of his rivals. Hunkadea slotting in front of both Marco Vittman and in front of Maxi Gotts. And of course, when he makes his stop, Kelvin Van Der Linde is probably going to be behind him as well. Van Der Linde leads for now, though, going longer, 4.1 seconds ahead of Vincent Abril. Nico Muller 3rd, and into the pits for Sheldon Van Der Linde, 9.3 seconds. It's an all right stop. It's not great, but it's all right. You can see 2 seconds easily can be lost in the pits here. It'll take a long time to get 2 seconds back on track. He's going to tuck in somewhere behind Esteban Musa, I think, as he comes through. But in front of his teammate Timo Glock in the yellow and white River Racing BMW. So the 3-time Formula 1 podium finisher Timo Glock looking to try and get himself back into the points. He's pushing on. The rest of the field all tightly packed, making their way out into the back straight and down towards turn 6. BMW of Vittman still being harassed by the Ferrari of Alban. There's your race leader for now, though. Getting his head down. Last lap, 134.9. Best lap, 134.7. So the tyres are still working okay for him. But surely after what happened yesterday, he's going to be a bit nervous about staying out too long. Because at the moment, Kelvin Van Der Linde is 23 seconds ahead of Lucas Auer, who's the virtual leader. But if a safety car comes out, that 23 seconds will go, almost completely go. That's how much time it will cost him if the safety car were to come out before he makes his pit stop. But he's braving it out, thinking, well, this is our strategy, this is our plan. Surely lightning can't strike twice. But it's all a bit edgy, as you can imagine, down on the pit wall for Abt Sportsline who run Kelvin's car. There is Lucas Auer then, strolling through, looking good. His last lap was a personal best lap. So still looking quick. Best lap of the race now with Liam Lawson, 134.185 second lap. So it's Kelvin Van Der Linde, Vincent Abril, Nico Muller and Mike Rockenfeller, the top four. Dev Gore in 5th. 6th place for Lucas Auer, who's the first of the pit stoppers. Liam Lawson is a net 2nd, Hunkerdare is a net 3rd. And you're looking at the battle for what, once it all settles down with the pit stop, should be 4th place between Vittman and Alban. Max Scott's just falling away a little bit now in the Mercedes. Mercedes has quite got the pace here this weekend at Assen. It's not far off, but he's not quite there, Maxi Gotts, and he's now got his mirrors full of Mirko Bortolotti's T3 Motorsport Lamborghini luck as they come down into turn 6. Now, Bortolotti looking quick at this stage of the race. And they'll be battling for a net 6th place, Gotts and Bortolotti. Bortolotti won't take any points away from Gotts if he gets in front. Replay of the start. The rolling start. And Lucas Auer, I think they were looking at it maybe because he was slightly ahead as they crossed the line, but he controls the pace. It's up to everybody else to stay with him. This is how it looked from Max Gotts's point of view. Crowded, isn't it, on the way into the first turn. You've got to look in front, you've got to look to the left, you've got to look in the mirrors on the right, you've got to look at the rear camera. There's a lot going on board with Kelvin Van Der Linde, who made a good start initially. Going into turn 1, Bortolotti coming alongside him. They were wheel to wheel. Liam Lawson clattered the curbs on the inside of turn 1, which was part of the reason he dropped behind Alex Alban. This is the start from Liam's point of view. Maybe a little bit of contact on the way through as well. He was trying to get past Marco Vittman. Had to take to the curbs. Yeah, I think there was a bit of contact with the BMW on the way out of the turn. Not much, but enough maybe to unsettle the number 30 Ferrari. So there's Lucas Auer. Black and white flag for Vincent Abril. Disrespecting track limits. Be careful. Once the warnings stop, the penalties start. Lucas Auer pushing on then. Looking for the team's 2nd win of the season. Following on from Phillip Ellison's victory at the Lausitzring earlier this year. The 2nd event of the season. We've still got Maxi Gotts just about fending off Mirko Bortolotti as they come through into turn 6, and the gap has crept out a little bit more now between Vittman and Alban. So Marco, for now, has got a bit of respite from the battle. So Alban breathing down his neck all the way through the race so far. Still just under 36 minutes plus 1 lap to go. And there is Bortolotti, who's been a great addition to the championship this weekend. There's some real star turns from guest drivers, but he and Christian Klein have been the standouts, really. I can see underneath the commentary box that Team Rosberg are getting ready for a pit stop. It could be either Muller or Gore, because neither of them have been in the pits yet. They're run 3rd and 5th on track currently. Still got to make their pit stops. Audi's going late. 4 of the top 5 haven't pitted. Dev Gore is the one that's come in. So Dev Gore comes into the pits to make his stop from 5th. That will put Lucas Auer now up to 5th place, the virtual leader. As underneath the commentary box, in comes Dev Gore. Team Rosberg looking to turn him around, get the 4 Michelins on, send him on his way within 9 seconds if they can. A roar in the background is Dev Gore getting away from the pits. You're watching Alex Alban and the 23 Ferrari. Having a look at the inside once again is Mirko Bortolotti. A race always to win, he said yesterday. Well, he was delighted with his 2nd place finish. Franconian driver in the south of Germany, Maxi Gotts, keeping him at bay. A 1-time DTM winner. In the background, it was getting pretty close as well. Side-by-side action a bit further back between Esteban Moot and Kelvin Van Der Linde, who are 15th and 16th on the road at the moment. So 2 young drivers going wheel to wheel. It's good to see Sheldon's run of bad luck coming to an end yesterday. It wasn't the greatest result he's ever had, but it would have felt pretty good after all the bad luck that he's endured the last couple of weekends. 6th place, points for 4th. And it was all good. A smile returned for Sheldon. We'll see what he can do today. He's certainly got a chance for some more points. Lucas Auer then going through. He is how far up the road from Liam Lawson? He's about 2 seconds clear of him as it stands. There is Lawson coming through. So the gap's not as big as it once was. Let's see what the lap times are like. Through the pits, it was a really good stop for Lawson and AF Corsa. So Auer goes through 134.8, 134.7 for Liam Lawson. He's a bit quicker at the moment. It's only a 10th, but it's going the right way for Liam. He's closing in, despite the fact he's carrying the success ballast. He is homing in on the Mercedes of Lucas Auer, number 22. Still, Mirko Bortolotti cannot find a way past Maxi Götz, who's got to defend, not for the points necessarily, but for the position, trying to stay ahead of him. It's a big gap back then to Phillip Ellison. A slightly tough weekend. Picked up points for 7th yesterday, despite a battered car. There he is, the driver 5th in the championship in the background of the blue and white Mercedes, teammate to the virtual leader Lucas Auer. Behind him, you've got Arjun Maini, only 0.9 of a second adrift and 3/10 quicker on the previous lap. So Arjun Maini coming after Phillip Ellis is another battle to keep an eye on. And then behind him, Esteban Muth and Kelvin Van Der Linde. That gap has grown. Timo Glock, the next one in line, 16th. Christian Klein down in 17th at the moment. Watching on nervously in the garage, holding their breaths. Their work, they hope, has been done. The driver on his way. Just over 2 seconds the gap on this lap. Lucas Auer through the first sector, 36.8. Liam Lawson, 36.9. So he got that 10th of a second that he lost on the previous lap. Looks like he's clawed it back on this one. We'll see what the lap time is like. 1:34.8. Sorry, 1:34.5 for Auer, 1:34.6 for Lawson. So he's a 10th quicker this time, Lucas Auer, and the gap back out to just over 2 seconds. Great super slow-mos. You see the Austrian working away at the wheel. It's another driver who's always got a smile on his face, a positive, naturally personable driver, Lucas Auer. And there, this prestigious young talent, Liam Lawson. Did he win the DTM title at the age of 19? He's already the youngest ever race winner, could be the youngest ever championship winner. He's in the driving seat at the moment, but it's going to be a tough end to the season for all of those involving the championship fight. Right, there is Arjun Maini, who was catching Phillip Ellis, but has been caught himself by Esteban Muth. So they were nose to toe as they came through. Timo Glock versus Maximilian Buch you're looking at now. This, at the moment, is the fight for, 16th place. Glock has dropped back a little bit behind Christian Klein, and this is how it happened. Christian Klein swooping down the inside in the McLaren to gain the place on the way into turn 1 at Harbach. Nice move. These days, of course, it's all without DRS or push to pass. It's just about car setup and driver skill and being brave on the brakes and being precise through the corners. Proper overtaking. Maxi Götz still working hard to keep Mirko Bortolotti at bay. Bortolotti, a guest driver, so even if he passes Max, he won't take any points away from him. But that's not going to stop Max fighting for the position. Will be in the back of his mind, though. Alex Alban, who knows every sticker, every mark on the back of that BMW, because he's been examining the BMW for the best part of half an hour now, staring at the back of Marco Vittman's car, trying to find a gap, trying to find a chink in the armour. But he's not relenting, despite the fact that Alex comes alongside him on several occasions. That time, as close as he's been, looking to go around the outside of turn 5, but it's been said to me before, the BMW is not easy to pass. It's such a big car. And Marco Vittman just holds the line, doesn't get stressed about the fact that the Ferrari's alongside him, doesn't panic, just does his thing, does his job, holds the line and holds the position. And the longer it goes on, the harder it's going to be to think of new ideas for Alex Alban. All you do is just keep on applying the pressure and hope eventually an opportunity arises. Esteban Muth trying to create an opportunity here in the battle with Arjun Maini, the Indian driver versus the Belgian. Two young stars coming into DTM for the first time. Both had good top 6 finishes so far this season. Arjun Maini, a star driving qualifying at the Red Bull Ring to get into the top 3 2 weeks ago. Whoa, running too wide there, though, is the Lamborghini. All over the gravel trap, all over the grass, all over the curbs. And he might have damaged the car with that. He's going to lose a place. Through will sweep Kelvin Van Der Linde to pick up a position. And Esteban Muth with a wild ride there. Not quite getting it right. Vincent Abril comes in from 3rd place then. So he pits. Here's a replay of Esteban Muth The track falls away there into the gravel trap, so it bottomed out and lost all sense of grip for a few seconds. He did well to wrestle it back on the track, but by then Kelvin Van Der Linde, with more momentum, had come through and several seconds had been lost. So Kelvin Van Der Linde leads. Nico Muller is second. Mike Rockenfeller will move up to third. They have yet to come into the pits. And here we go again. Alex Alban versus Marco Vittman. He's tried everything, Alex, to get through. It's going to be on the outside line. And you'd be lucky to get around the outside of Marco Vittman into the chicane. It's not going to happen. It's brought onto their case now as well. Suddenly back in the action, Maxi Götz. He'd fallen away by a couple of seconds, but they're fighting each other so hard that he's caught them up. He's brought Mirko Bortolotti with him, and we're going to have 4 of them scrapping away. Lucas Auer is the virtual leader. Lawson and Hunkerdale second and third, but this should be, once the pit stops sort themselves out, the battle for 4th place. Fantastic scrap going on between all 4 cars. And isn't it great to see the variety? BMW, Ferrari, Mercedes, Lamborghini, all evenly matched in this DTM race. Assen has given us some really, really close battles over the last 3 years, and this weekend has been absolutely no exception. There's Kelvin Van Der Linde striking a lonely figure at the front of the field, going long, praying the safety car doesn't come out. Team radio for Kelvin. Last lap 1:35.0, best lap 1:34.5, so the tyres are starting to go now. Is he going to make the decision to come in? 36 seconds will put him down to around about 11th place at the moment. But with Muller and Rockenfeller still to pit, so you'll be looking at 9th place, 8th, 9th place, something like that, I think, once it all settles down. But he'll have pretty fresh tyres for the rest of the race. If he has long enough to use them, he could go on the attack and pick up some positions. So it's that balance now of when do you come in, when do you start losing time on the tyres you've got, how much time do you give yourself to use the fresher tyres. Get this battle coming through shot. Phillip Ellison next up. Vincent Abril is tucked in just in front of Arjun Maini, so 12th on the road at the moment. And then Maini and Van Der Linde, the next battle to watch. Kelvin Van Der Linde having got past Esteban Moot after Esteban had that ride through the gravel trap and on the grass, he's got back on terms with them. Doesn't know how not to drive flat out, does he? Esteban Moot. Straight back on them. Warning flag for Kelvin Van Der Linde for track limits. Got to be careful of that as well. He's certainly not the only one. There'll be less messages today than there were the first 2 days of the event, that's for sure. They've started to heed the warnings, the drivers, fearing these penalties that can come and can ruin races. Although the 2 key penalties yesterday in the race were nothing to do in the end with track limits. One was for contact, Marco Vittman, and the other was for a pit lane infringement, Lucas Auer. However, you don't want to risk anything, particularly if you're fighting for the championship. As is this man, Marco Vittman, in the Scheffler-backed BMW, run by Volkenhorst, and keeping at bay the AlphaTauri AF Corsa Ferrari of Alex Alban, as he has for the entire race so far. Even in the pit lane they were together, came in at the same time. Just behind Max Götz. This group of cars is around about 4 seconds behind Daniel Hunkerdale, so Daniel is looking good for a podium finish here. He's got a big breathing space between himself and the Gruppe M Mercedes. He's got the same sponsor, BWT Water Solutions, as Maxi Götz, but they are run by different teams. A little bit ragged there from Max Götz, invites the attention of Mirko Bortolotti, but he can't find a way through. In certain places you can pass here, and other places you can get close, but it's too risky to try the move. So Auer looking for his first win of the season. Lawson looking for a 2nd place finish as it stands, and Hunkerdale looking for a 2nd podium of the 2021 campaign. Phillip Ellison pushing hard to try and get more points, but the car hasn't quite been on it for him this weekend either. It's not been a Mercedes track necessarily. They've been close, they've been thereabouts, but they haven't quite been on the ultimate pace this weekend. Abt are ready then. It's either going to be for Kelvin Van Der Linde, who's first, or his teammate Mike Rockenfeller, who is third. Neither of them.
You sure you don't want to go longer?
So it's the team that wants to bring him in rather than the driver that's asking to come in. You sure you don't want to go longer, he says. It's brave, isn't it, given what happened yesterday? Last lap 1:35.538.
Box will stay out, box will stay out.
Personally, I'd come in, Kelvin.
Box.
Because your last lap was the second off your best lap. Your tyres are going. You're just losing time now. Get those new tyres on and push.
Will be side by side with Vittman, Alban and Guts. You have the tyre advantage.
Interesting. I reckon he's going to come out with Vittman, Alban and
Copy pit
Guts.
lane.
That would require 32-second turnaround, which would be quicker than most have gone. But they did give him the best pit stop yesterday. The team can gain a couple of seconds here for him, and that might make the difference. Sub 8-second pit stops yesterday for the team.
You can go.
It's gone. It's okay. It's not quite as good as yesterday, but 8.3 seconds is better than most today. Where is he going to emerge in all of this? Hungadeo goes through. Here comes
Lawson.
the Vittman and Alban battle. It's going to be oh so tight. Vittman is going to have the temperatures on the tyre up to speed. He's going to be behind, but he's going to lunge shortly down the inside here. Vittman gets past Kelvin Van Der Linde, who tucks in behind him. But Van Der Linde, that's been well worked out by the team. A great stop, or a really good stop at least, but a good in and out as well for Kelvin Van Der Linde. So he's come out in contention, potentially, for a fourth place here. He's a net fifth at the moment behind Marco Vittman, but he's come out ahead of Alex Alban. And crucially, he's also come out ahead of Max Gotts, one of his big championship rivals. So he's got two title rivals ahead of him, but one behind. But he's got to have much, much fresher tyres on the Audi. And he's got to make them work. He's still trying to get them up to temperature for this lap. But as we go into the final 10 minutes of the race, others are going to have tyres that are looking very tired and very old, and he's going to have a relatively fresh set of tyres on, and he ought to be able to push on and get through. So Marco Vittman, he's going to have to drive a very wide BMW for the rest of the race. So Nico Muller picks up the lead for now. He goes across the line. He's going to go very long, it seems, trying to salvage something. 3 consecutive non-points finishes for Nico. But he leads for now. Mike Rockenfeller in second, both coming from lowly grid positions, trying strategy to try and get some points out of the race if they can. And Lucas Auer, the net leader, crosses the line in third place. 1.2 seconds ahead of Liam Lawson. 1:35.3 for Lucas. 1:35.1 on that lap for Liam Lawson. 0.2 quicker for the New Zealander. Slowly but surely chipping away at the advantage of Lucas Auer. It was 3 seconds before the pit stops. It got down to 2. Oh, spin there in the background. Was that Ellis having a spin? Did we get a replay? We cut to the replay of Van Der Linde being released from the pit lane and rejoining. And this is how it looked from Marco Vittman's point of view. Out came the Audi, down the inside, as he had to do, went Marco Vittman. But as I say, it's still going to be hard work on those old tyres for the remainder of this race to keep Kelvin Van Der Linde behind him. Kelvin has got to go for it now and push hard. Yes, just as we cut to the replay, that was that spin coming out of turn 2 for Phillip Ellison in the Mercedes. Just losing the back end of the car. Vincent Abril goes through. Sheldon Van Der Linde and Esteban Moot get past him as well. Not good news for the driver, 5th in the championship. In lap for Van Der Linde was 0.3 quicker than Vittman. The pit stop was quicker for Vittman. The total time, including the in and out, you can see there, was 0.3 gained on Vittman. More on others, I reckon, as well. So good job by the team. Sigh of relief you can almost hear from the whole of South Africa that he got to the pit stop without the safety car coming out. So he's back in the game here. And there's your live championship predictor. That's ignoring the fact that Muller and Rockenfeller are first and second at the moment, because they're going to drop out of the order. It would be 1:75 for Lawson, 1:62 for Vittman, 1:58 for Van Der Linde, and 1:53 for Gotts. So 10 points between the top 4 at the start of the race. If it stays like this, once the pit stops are sorted out, it will grow to 22 points, the gap from 1st to 4th. It's only a few weeks ago that Liam Lawson was 49 points behind the championship leader going into the Spielberg weekend. 2 wins there. Another podium yesterday, potentially another podium today. Some bad luck for Kelvin Van Der Linde, and it has completely flipped on its head, this championship. So Kelvin, Marco Vittman, you also got to worry about him in terms of points, and you've got to try and get past him. This is for a net 4th place. 4th place garners 12 points. 5th place garners 10 points. 2 extra points they've got to count. Black and white flag for Mike Rockenfeller. Team Rosberger ready. Nico Muller comes into the pits. So the race leader, Nico Muller, coming into the pits now. Right underneath the commentary box he comes in, adhering to the pit lane speed limit, and stops the car right on the money. So Mike Rockenfeller with the Abt Sportsline Audi is going to be the last of the pit stoppers. He leads the race. Roaring away from his pit box is Nico Muller, as Vittman and Van Der Linde go over the start-finish line. Muller's going to have fresh tyres as well, but he's, I think, going to be out of the top 10 when he rejoins. Abril has already gone through. And then Van Der Linde and Moot is going to be just in front of Sheldon Van Der Linde. So Nico Muller, that's worked out pretty well for him as well. A warning for disrespecting track limits for Esteban Moot. He joins the list. Right, still keeping an eye on the gap between Auer and Lawson. 1.2 seconds, it's steadied for now. But Auer is still having to work hard here. Now, Marco Vittman having shaken off the Ferrari of Alex Alban. That's been replaced by this number 3 Abt Sportsline Audi of 3-time race winner, Kelvin Van Der Linde, who for most of the season has been the championship leader. Only this weekend losing the championship, thanks in part to some bad luck with the safety car yesterday. Risk-on strategy that didn't pay off. Almost worrying about starting at the back of the field in qualifying this morning, but he got away with that one as well, with a brave lap. So digging in, fighting for everything he's worth is Kelvin Van Der Linde, but Marco Vittman knows how important this is. I think Marco knows that he's not going to be quick enough to close the gap to Daniel Hunkedeo, who's miles up the road. So he hasn't got to worry about speed, just position, just defending. That he's doing at the moment. Van Der Linde's not quite with him. Despite the fact that the BMW, remember, has got 25 kilograms of success ballast on board. 16 minutes, 10 seconds, plus 1 lap to go. Mike Rockenfeller still out on the track. Nico Muller 11th on the track, having come out in front of Sheldon Van Der Linde. That should be 10th once Rocky comes in and makes his stop, and I'm afraid that's Esme Hawkey into retirement and out of the race after a pretty good day yesterday. And here we go, Kelvin Van Der Linde drawing level now with Marco Vittman. But this surely can't happen around the outside. He's got to switch to the inside here, which he does. He's got his foot in the door. It would be a brave move, though. It would be a risky move. And sensibly, Kelvin Van Der Linde backs out of that, because if he'd gone for a lunge there, I don't think either of them would have come out of the corner pointing in the right direction. But you can see that those tyres are starting to go now on the BMW, and the tyres are starting to work much better on the Audi. He's the quicker of the two, but as we saw yesterday, courtesy of Kelvin's teammate Mike Rockenfeller, even on old tyres, you can keep cars behind you for lap after lap here at Assen. That's what Rocky did, as he backed up the queue. Now, ironically, roles reversed today, and Abt Sportsline Audi trying to get past the Marco Vittman BMW. Well, there was contact there as Kelvin took to the curbs with a bit of a lunge. The door opened up. He fancied his chances. It almost paid off, but not quite. Just takes it, doesn't he? Just keep hitting Marco Vittman. That BMW's like a tank. It just stays on the line. They just bounce off him. Tyres screech as they hit the brakes, come into the next braking zone. Gap reduces between BMW and Audi. And the longer it goes on, the more Alex Alban comes back into the fight. Maybe Max Scott's too. Mike Rockenfeller leads as around the outside again goes Kelvin Van Der Linde. Rockenfeller leads, got to make a pit stop though. He'll rejoin outside the top 10, I reckon. Lucas Auer will pick up the lead of the race once that happens. Lawson second, Hunkedeo would be third, and this would be the battle for 4th place. It's for crucial championship points as well. These two drivers second and third in the points. Can Alex Alban do his teammate a favour and get in between them as well? In the number 23 AlphaTauri AF Corsa Ferrari. He's trying, he's not quite on terms with them yet. And like yesterday, really, Max Scott's, he's there watching and waiting in the wings, but not quite able to get involved. There's the boss, Thomas Biermeier at App Sportsline, keeping an eye on his charge, Kelvin Van Der Linde. His big hope for the championship title. But it's another gutsy performance from Marco Vittman. He was on the attack all day yesterday. Now he's had to be the driver defending today, as he probably expected with that success ballast on board. Nico Müller on for the fastest lap of the race again. He's just set it with the 134.118. He's just done the best two sector times. So Nico Müller, with nothing to lose, is going for it. There he is in the Rosberg Audi, number 51, the Swiss driver in the silver and red Audi, homing in on the yellow HRT Mercedes of Vincent Abril. He's in 11th place, Nico Müller, but it will become 10th once Mike Rockenfeller heads into the pits in the Ab Sportsline Audi. On board with Alex Alban, everybody in the AF Corsa pit box watching on, involved in the race, trying to give as much help and advice and information as they can to their two drivers. Lucas Auer 1.1 seconds ahead of Liam Lawson. The gap's come down a little bit more. Starting to get tasty. Lawson is not giving in on trying to get another race victory here. Looking for his 4th win of the season. If he did that, that would be more wins than anybody so far this year, including Kelvin Van Der Linde. Right, Kelvin, have you got anything here to fight with? Is the Audi quick enough to get you back on terms with the BMW? Again, you just get the sense that the Audi's not the quickest car around here, and Kelvin is dragging 120% out of it just to get it in a position to stay with the BMW, fresher tyres or not. I wouldn't be surprised if Kelvin Van Der Linde starts doing a rain dance at Hockenheim and the Norris Ring, because if the car isn't naturally quick around there in the dry, then maybe the wet weather can help him out. We'll see. Long way to go. 4 races after this. Anything can happen. Here are effectively the top two once Mike Rockenfeller makes his pit stop. And there you can see it's a bit up and down the gap, but bit by bit it reduces. Just over a second now, 1.033 seconds. It's taken half a dozen laps to chip it away from 1.1 seconds. It did get down to less than a second midway through the previous lap. Warning now for Sheldon Van Der Linde for track limits. Close again between the BMW and the Audi of Vittman and Van Der Linde. Kelvin Van Der Linde edging back away from Alex Alban. Okay, Bortolotti still staring at the back of Max Gotz's Mercedes, and Nico Müller onto the tail now of Vincent Abril in the battle for the moment for 10th place. Should be for 9th place though once Rocky comes in and makes his stop. Rockenfeller, if we were to make a stop now, I think he'd come out somewhere around Christian Clean, Phillip Ellison, who are 14th, 15th at the moment. So again, is he going to give himself time to use his tyres or not, Mike Rockenfeller? A couple of times he's gone late in the races and been able to maintain speed, Rocky. But his last lap was a 135.6, his best lap's a 134.8. He's definitely starting to suffer with them now. And losing time to a few of the drivers around him, not all of them. Despite the fact he's got old tyres, he's still in amongst the quicker group of cars out there. Right, Kelvin Van Der Linde, 10 minutes plus 1 lap to try and find a way past Marco Vittman. But he's not quite as close as he was. There's the on-the-track race leader at the moment, teammate to Kelvin. And there's Nico Müller going for the move and successfully putting it off. More grip later on the brakes, new tyres or newer tyres working better. Nico Müller ahead of Vincent Abril, Audi moving past Mercedes, and that will be for a net 9th place. Sheldon Van Der Linde is coming to the pits, and through he comes. Unscheduled stop this. He's already made his mandatory stop, and the bad luck went away for a day. It's come back again.
I honestly have no more words. I don't have.
And a very frustrated Sheldon Van Der Linde. I've got no more words. What else is going to go wrong, he says. Such a happy time here at Assen last year with his maiden DTM race victory. but it is just not working out at the moment for Sheldon. Respite yesterday from the bad luck, that 6th place finish, but again, another DNF. He's had far too many of them this year. So he is out. Esme Hawkey out of the race as well. So that will put Sophia Florsch up to 18th, Dev Gore up to 19th as the final 2 runners in the race. There is Nico Muller homing in now on Mirko Bortolotti's Lamborghini. Kelvin Van Der Linde doesn't seem to have any answer to Marco Vittman, and it's another Audi we need to keep an eye on now, because he could take valuable championship points away from Gotts. Oh, look at Alban here. He could take valuable championship points away from Gotts and Van Der Linde and Vittman, could Nico Muller. He's not going to have a say in this year's championship. He could have a say in the outcome of the championship, though, Nico Muller. By taking points away from them, he's going to start carving his way through the field. The driver at the back of this queue, the one to watch. Alex Alban now having to go defensive to keep Max Gotts behind him. Bertolotti and the Lamborghini all over the curbs. That was a bit messy. Just hanging back to try and get a better run at them here is Nico Muller. Bertolotti firing everything at this, getting the gas down on the T3 Motorsport Lamborghini. Is he going to dive for the inside? I don't think he will. No, Max Gotts holds the position for now. Fighting over 8th place, Gotts and Bortolotti will become 7th place once pit stops are complete for Mike Rockenfeller. Just got to be at some point in the next 7 minutes. So the gap from 1st to 2nd has grown again. Lucas Auer is back out to 1.7 seconds. It's a bad lap for some reason last time round for Liam Lawson. 1:35.6, lost half a second to Lucas Auer on that lap. So it took him about 8 laps to get the gap down to a second, and then it's all gone again in the space of 1 moment somewhere out on track. So it might just have to settle for 2nd, but second's good when your championship rivals are all behind you. Lucas Auer, he doesn't need to worry about in terms of points, really, much as he'd like the 25 points. And great to see the young fans enjoying this, loving the DTM. Wow, he says, look at this. I think we've got a fan for life there. Pure joy on his face, brilliant. Great, great, great to have the fans back. Well, Alex Alban has tried a lot of moves today, quite coming off. Whoa. And there was the third. That was big, 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 big hit right into the back of Kelvin Van Der Linde. Now, is there any damage sustained or notable damage sustained as a result of that on either of the cars? So a big old hit, wasn't it? Going okay for now. 6 minutes left on the clock. Nico Muller still hasn't found a way past Mirko Bortolotti. Bortolotti still can't find a way past Max Gotts. And there you see Marco Vittman holding station for now. Van Der Linde just pulled back away from Alban, but he's not quite yet back on terms with the BMW. A bit like Red Bull Ring this. Kelvin Van Der Linde having to push, push, push just to get into the top 5 or 6, but not really having the pace with the car to be able to push for a podium. He did say, though, back in the middle of the season, I'm a bit worried about the second half of the season. I don't think the Audi is as well suited to the rest of the tracks on the calendar. Unsurprisingly, under investigation is that moment you saw between Alban and Van Der Linde. There's your virtual leader. Lawson has got the gap back down. That's odd, isn't it? The gap went right out to 1.6 seconds, but now Lucas Auer, maybe it's his tyres started to kick in. Lucas Auer started to be caught back up, and less than a second now, the gap between Auer and Lawson. Lawson really recovering, got 2 tenths back on that lap, a couple of tenths on the lap before as well. So Auer staying fairly consistent with his lap times. What about Daniel Hankadea just behind them? 1:35.1 for him. He's on the same pace, but not closing. He's 1.5 seconds back. And here comes Kelvin Van Der Linde, looking for a net 4th place. Not yet finding it, but again, close now to the tail of the BMW of Marco Vittman. 2nd and 3rd in the championship, nose to tail, battling at the moment for 5th place. It will become 4th place once Rockenfeller pits from the lead. Alex Alban has put a big dent in the back of the Audi. That won't have gone down well with Kelvin, that's for sure, bearing in mind that that's another Ferrari he's trying to beat in this championship. one of them, because he's also trying to beat this man, and he's also trying to beat Max Scott's there in the Mercedes. One of the 4 key championship protagonists. Looks like that's going to be the case for the remainder of the season now. Phillip Ellison, who we saw having a spin out of the points in this one, the driver that's 5th in the championship, so the gap with the top 4 to everybody else will grow. Marco Vittman on board with him, icy cool as he makes his way over the start-finish line. 3 minutes 33 seconds left on the clock. Still one and a half car lengths advantage over the Audi. Maybe Alex Alban coming back a little bit now. That's your race leader, yet to make his stop. We'll leave it right to the end here, Mike Rockenfeller. If he can do 32 or 33 seconds like his teammate, it's going to come out in about 12th, 13th place. Esteban Moot, Christian Klein, that sort of area. No investigation necessary in the incident between Alban and... between Van Der Linde and Vittman, which was a tiny bit of contact earlier on. So that one's ticked off. Next one to look at, Alban versus Van Der Linde. So Liam Lawson still pushing hard here to try and get his 4th race win of the season. He's carrying 15 kilograms of success ballast. The Mercedes in front of him has no extra weight on the car, but the gap is coming down. Lawson has got the bit between his teeth here, but time is running out. Lucas Auer is not going to be an easy man to pass. He wants to get this race victory. There is the live championship point. Once Mike Rockenfeller makes his pit stop, that's how it's going to be. That's how it should be. But Lucas Auer, for that to happen, needs to hold on to take his 6th career win in the DTM. More than 100 races under his belt now. Experienced racer, despite still being in his mid-20s. And Mike Rockenfeller finally comes in to make his stop with 2 minutes left on the clock. So Rocky in from the race lead. And the Mercedes going very slowly over the start-finish line just in front of me. Which one was that? It was, I'm afraid, Daniel Gadea, wasn't it? Who's gone very, very slowly over the line with just 2 minutes to go. Pulls off the circuit. Pulls to the right there on the pit lane exit. But that car, I'm afraid, is going no further. That's a huge shame after what was looking like a potential podium finish. So that is going to promote, there he is, Daniel Hunkedare. That is going to promote Marco Vittman up to 3rd place and Kelvin Van Der Linde up to 4th. Behind Auer and Lawson, who will now pick up 1st and 2nd positions. So now this becomes a battle for the last place on the podium. Oh, it's terrible luck for the Spaniard and for Grupo M Racing, so close to the end of the race. I just saw it as right underneath me, I saw the pit stop for Mike Rockenfeller. It's this very slow travelling pink Mercedes, and that was Daniel Hunkedare about to head into a very late retirement. Right, Liam Lawson, is it worth the risk now at this stage of the race? It's 7 more points if you can get past Lucas Auer. They all count, but if you try the move and it doesn't come off, you could lose the 18 points that you've already got. Stick or twist. Well, he's certainly going to just try and keep the pressure up for now. The time will run out on this lap. 2 laps to go. Leaping over the barrier, full of energy, but more adrenaline and anger, I would think. Daniel Hunkedare. He's somebody else that's had a fair share of bad luck so far this season. Especially here at Assen, caught out in that start line incident yesterday. He was the first one to retire. The first one to retire from race 1, and I think the last one to retire from race 2. But the pace is coming with that car, so that is one positive. Right, Lucas Auer, Liam Lawson, your top 2. They are massively clear of the rest. They're 10 seconds plus ahead of Marco Vittman in 3rd place, who in turn is just under 7/10 of a second clear of Kelvin Van Der Linde. So that's dented a bit of the advantage for Liam Lawson, because it's given more points to Marco Vittman, Kelvin Van Der Linde and Max Scott. So that's how it will now stand. 20 points between all 4 of them. 10 points would be the advantage for Liam Lawson going into Hockenheim in 2 weeks' time. And Kelvin Van Der Linde will end the weekend, if it stays like this, 15 points adrift of Liam Lawson. But you've still got 56 points available at Hockenheim. No, 56, 62, because you've got 2 qualifying. Sorry, no, 56 points there, and 56 points available at the Norris Ring as well. So 112 points still up for grabs after this race. Coming up towards the start of the final lap of the race then. Lucas Auer looks like he's got it sorted, but he'll have to stay on his toes here because the Ferrari of Liam Lawson is waiting to pounce. I don't think he's going to pull off or try to pull off any unnecessary moves here, Liam Lawson. Second place is way better than no points, way better. You don't have to win every race in DTM, you just have to keep scoring points, win when you can, and that's what he's been doing, Liam Lawson. So he's second, Marco Vittman is third, and Kelvin Van Der Linde fourth, Alex Alban fifth, Max Gott's in sixth place. Steady but not brilliant weekend for Max. Bortolotti 7th, Muller 8th, Abril 9th, Esteban Moot into the points in 10th place. Get points for 9th though because his teammate's a guest driver. Right, Liam Lawson shadowing the every move, the every turn of the wheel, every braking point for the race leader Lucas Auer, but you just get the sense that he's going to be happy enough, he always wants to win, but happy enough to settle for second. Might be a different story if it was Marco Vittman in front of him or Kelvin Van Der Linde. He's not as worried about Lucas Auer being in front of him, not in the long game. It's been a superb day for Lucas though. First pole position since October 2018 earlier on today. 10th pole position. It's about, I think, to be his 6th win in the DTM. A popular figure in the paddock. The Austrian comes through the final few swoops and turns. The checkered flag awaits. And here the Mercedes comes. Lucas Auer takes the checkered flag and wins here at Assen.
Yes, baby. Yes. Thanks for this day. Very good job. Very good job. Thank you, guys.
Super drive.
Superb job, Lucas. Superb job. Save fuel and collect pickup. Save fuel and collect pickup. So map 1.
Auer wins. Lawson second, Vittman third, and Kelvin Van Der Linde comes home in a slightly relieved but probably slightly frustrated 4th place. So Christian Clean off the road. So Hungerdale wasn't the last of the retirements. It was Christian Clean right at the end of the race after a superb day yesterday for the team. And then Timo Glock and Max Spook enjoying a good scrap going over the line, but out of the points, the pair of them in 15th and 16th positions. So it is Lucas Auer, the winner. Liam Lawson second, Marco Vittman on the podium again. And there, good to see Kelvin Van Der Linde drawing alongside Lucas Auer to give him the thumbs up and congratulate him. Alban comes home 5th, Gott's in 6th, Bortolotti 7th, but he won't score points as a guest driver. So Nico Muller will get the points for 7th, coming home in 8th place. Abril 9th, Moot in 10th, and actually Mike Rockenfeller will get a championship point. He finishes 11th, but he'll get the points for 10th after that very late pit stop. He also got the fastest lap of the race on the last lap of the race, Mike Rockenfeller, which makes you think maybe he should have put the new tyres on a bit sooner, but anyway, what do I know? 1:33.743 seconds. That's a relatively good result anyway for Mike, given where he started on the grid. So Liam Lawson acknowledging the fans, but also the marshals on his slowed down lap. There, those your race winner, Lucas Auer. First win of the season for him, and second win of the season for Team Winward. The Mercedes takes victory by just under 0.6 of a second from the Red Bull AF Corsa Ferrari of Liam Lawson, the championship leader. Marco Vittman in the Volkenhorst Motorsport BMW with a podium finish ahead of Kelvin Van Der Linde for Team Abt Sportsline in the Audi. Alex Alban in the AlphaTauri AF Corsa 5th, and then Max Scott 6th, Mirko Bortolotti 7th, Nico Muller in 8th, Vincent Abril 9th, Esteban Moot 10th, Mike Rockenfeller 11th, but he'll get a championship point. Phillip Ellison after the spin 12th, Arjun Maini 13th, Timo Glock 14th, Max Spook 15th, Sophia Florsch, who got her first DTM points yesterday, 16th, Dev Gore 17th. Christian Clean didn't finish the race, but classified in 18th. Danny Hungerdale didn't finish the race, but is classified in 19th. And 3 laps down, the fastest lap of the race, right at the end, going to Mike Rockenfeller, 1:33.743. And at the moment that Lucas Auer took the checkered flag, his 6th DTM race victory and his 14th visit to the podium in this championship. He'd have loved to have won 2 weeks ago in his home race, but he'll absolutely take this. Lucas Auer victorious here at Assen and soaking up a reasonable amount of pressure at the end of the race. He was 7th here as the best result previously at Assen last year. The team who play a huge role in all of this, their hard work has paid off as well. had to get the car repaired, picked up some damage yesterday, Lucas Auer, and he rewarded them with pole position this morning, and he rewards them with the victory here. And you can see the smile in the eyes through the open visor. He leaps off the car. Great win, great performance. And that's another DTM race winner this season. So Lucas Auer becomes our 7th different winner of the season from the first 12 races of 2021. Not quite on the podium for Kelvin Van Der Linde, but that's okay compared to the sheer frustration of yesterday. Losing points to 2 of his championship rivals, but it's okay. And there you go, look at this. T3 Motorsport driver Esteban Moot goes straight over to congratulate some of our podium finishers as well. Right here at the points then, Liam Lawson with 2 race weekends to go, 10 points clear. 112 points though still available, long way to go. Vittman in 2nd, Van Der Linde in 3rd, and Götz in 4th place. Phillip Ellison is still mathematically in with a chance, but Alex Alban now has 104 points behind, has a very slim chance, but could still mathematically win the championship. But they're the only ones. Auer, Rockenfeller, Van Der Linde and Muller can't now win the championship, but they can still have a say in what sort of points the rest of them score. A very happy weekend for Liam Lawson. That's 4 podium finishes on the trot now, 2 of which were race wins in Austria. And for Marco Vittman as well, it's been a fine spell. That will be his 4th podium from the last 5 races. But for Lucas Auer, who's not in the thick of the action, he's a really popular figure, Lucas. Everybody's got time for Luke. All having a chat with him. A big smile on his face. Enjoying that late battle that he had with Liam Lawson. There was nothing between them. Liam, I think, thinking about points in the end, comes home in 2nd place. That will do. So the music starts to play and we get ready for our podium presentations for the top 3 drivers and for the representative of our winning team, Team Winward. So first of all, our 3rd place driver will be called onto the podium, 2nd in the championship with 4 races to go. 2-time champion Marco Vittman comes home 3rd place today in race 2 at Assen. And I think he's pretty happy with that. He knows it was going to be hard work with the weight on the car. Liam Lawson, 2nd place today. 3rd yesterday, 2 wins before that in Austria. It's all coming good and at the right time for the 19-year-old. The winning team is going to be represented by Eric Lingerman, who's one of the top mechanics for the team, for Team Winward. So he has his moment of glory with a big smile on his face on the podium. Great moment for him. But the winner now about to be invited onto the podium, his 6th win. Lucas Auer up onto the top step of the podium. And nobody in this paddock is going to begrudge him that. Excellent day for Lucas Auer. He takes his 1st win since the Lausitz-Ring last year. And now we'll enjoy a great moment as he hears the Austrian national anthem.
What a race, what a podium.
The national anthem of Austria plays, and it plays for Lucas Auer, your race winner, 7th winner of the season. Trophy is now being held aloft, and it is kissed by Lucas Auer, the 1st place trophy, holds it above his head, raises his arms in the air. Great job by Team Winward as well. Eric Lingerman there on the left, enjoying the trophy that the team will take back to base. And smiles all round, as you'd expect for the 3 drivers. Eric's invited up for the photo as well. And hoisted aloft is Lucas Auer. He's the only one they do that for. Brilliant. All delighted for him. They got a championship to fight for, but they're pleased for their friend. And Lucas Sauer, brilliant, straight on with the champagne. He was miles quicker than the rest of them there. Went straight for Eric Lingerman. But now he's getting blasted back. Double assault from Vittman and Lawson. And he's absolutely drenched. Brilliant. Well, there you go. What a race. What a race weekend here in Assen. What a couple of weeks it has been for Liam Lawson. He's gone from being a little bit down at heart with some bad luck and the car not quite performing in qualifying. And AF Corsa and Liam Lawson have completely turned it around. Over 4 races, he's gone from 49 points adrift to 10 points clear at the top of the table. That's how it looked from the grandstands. The start of the race, Lucas Sauer leading them through at the start of the 55-minute +1 lap race. And he never relented. Some great super slow-mos at this very popular Assen circuit. The drivers all enjoy racing here. Not a good day for Christian Kleen, but it was yesterday. And that was a lovely shot. That young fan there in the grandstand, pointing at the cars, absolutely loving his visit to the DTM. And long may it continue. It's great that the DTM drivers and teams give so much support to the fans. Right, let's hear then from some of our drivers, and I'll hand you over to Verena.
And I'm here with Marco Whitman, the man who managed 3rd place. And you seem very happy because obviously the advantage to Liam is shrinking, only 10 points behind. From here, anything is possible. How tough was the race?
It was actually really tough. I mean, we knew that with the success palace it's going to be difficult, and actually it was. Yeah, especially then when Kelvin came out on fresh tires. I did not consider to keep him behind, really, you know, because obviously he had that tire advantage. There were some tight moments, especially always in turn 3, 4, 5, where we struggled a bit in pace. And then obviously I got as well the last warning for track limit, so I knew I'm really on the edge, and it was tough. Obviously got a bit lucky with the failure of Juncker, which is a shame for him, obviously. But definitely, I mean, the podium again is something which is super nice.
Absolutely. I think you were 11 seconds behind Liam, so I guess there was no chance to get close to him. But according at this point, I mean, it's all about the championship, and I guess it's just about shrinking the advantage, right?
Yeah, I mean, now it's just 4 races left, and you have to be consistent. And I mean, Liam is doing as well a great job. Obviously, the pace of him and Lucas, I could not go today. But obviously, as I said, we had a bit more weight in the car, which is a downside. They were too strong, so for us it was more of a defending race, and I think this we did pretty well.
Absolutely. And one question, you guys picked up Lucas. He's not very heavy, is he?
No, not at all. And I mean, we did a joke before that the trophy is half of his size. So, and then obviously he was on P1 and the smallest of us. So I said to Liam, come on, let's take him up, that he's at least finally once in his life higher than us. So I think the joke was pretty nice.
I think he enjoyed it, and for that he got a lot of champagne in his face afterwards.
And actually, yeah, and actually he said he can finally see his team because he was that high.
Very nice. All right, thank you so much, Marco. And I'm going to try to grab one of the other two in just a second, but they're still in interview. So for the moment, back to the commentator.
Poor old Lucas, hoisted aloft just so he could be higher than everybody else on the podium. Good stuff. So Marco Vittman, of the championship contenders, he scored the most points this weekend. So the win, the 3rd, the 2 second places in qualifying. He's got 44 points. So although Liam Lawson is top of the board, Marco Vittman has picked up the most points this weekend, 7 more by my maths than Liam Lawson's had a 2nd, a 3rd, a pole, and 3rd in the 2 qualifying sessions. But the pair of them now outscoring quite convincingly Kelvin Van Der Linde and Max de Gotts to get a bit of a breather at the top of the table. Let's hear more now from Verena down in the pits.
Here's a very, very happy man. Congratulations to your victory. You were fighting so hard and you did a perfect race, and you were even raised up in the air by your team, by your colleagues later on. So what's the feeling right now? How's it feeling inside?
I feel amazing. I tell you, I had a great race, great start, great pit stop, great strategy, but at the end, Liam was flying, yeah. and it made my life really tough because I had 0 tires left, and one more lap it wouldn't be good for me. So it's just perfect.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It was a wonderful race, perfect race for him. And the man who's leading the championship is Liam Lawson, and Liam was fighting really, really hard. Congratulations to your second place. I guess you were trying to get closer to Luki, but in the end it was all about you didn't want to risk too much, I guess, because you're the leader of the championship, and still a second place is a good place.
Yeah, I was getting told every lap, no risk, Liam, don't take any risks. But honestly, I was in a. It's not often you get in these zones like I was just in then, where you're just flat out every single lap, quali laps, trying to get close. And honestly, if I am honest, I was absolutely flat out. I was trying to get to Lugi, but he didn't put a foot wrong. So congrats to him and his whole team. They did a good job today with the pole, and then to convert it into a win. But yeah, good points for us this weekend to take the lead of the championship is really, really cool. Now we have to maintain this for the last 2 rounds.
And it's only, but you've got 10 points advantage, but we all know how quickly something can happen there. So we've got 4 more races to go. Next we have in 2 weeks Hockenheimring, so looking forward to that. And what are you expecting?
Hopefully more of this. We're going to need it, but it's another track that I think it should be okay for our car. We did testing there earlier in the year. It was one of the official tests for the whole field. So I think everybody more or less has a baseline that they'll start off with. So I think it should be pretty close.
Looking forward to that. So Liam, thank you so much. And wow, what an exciting DTM season 2021. We got 2 more race weekends to go, and next is Hockenheimring in 2 weeks. We're really looking forward to that. Hope you are too, and you don't want to miss it. So see you in 2 weeks. And now here are the highlights. Do enjoy. See you soon. Bye-bye.